This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones here, and welcome to Black Westchester People Before Politics radio show. And I am the publisher, Damon K. Jones, Black Westchester. AJ will be here in a minute. Matter of fact, AJ is actually coming in. He is on his way in. Yep. And what's up, my brother AJ?
What's good? What's good with you?
Yeah. We here, and big shout out to everybody that's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that's checking us out. That is actually checking us out, and X that is checking us out tonight. We're gonna have a great time. We have a couple of guests coming on to talk about a project in Mount Vernon. Some people saw my video before about how it's unfortunate that the Mount Vernon city government has allowed all these people from outside of the community to build projects. But when you have a family that has given to the community, they're taxpayers of the city of Mount Vernon, it shouldn't take 11 years to negotiate with the city on buying property and building something for the community.
And some of that was multiple mayors too.
It doesn't matter.
No. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't take that long.
Right.
I said even with different administrations.
Exactly. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And this is exactly how black people do black people. But then these white developers can come into black city and build whatever they want. You know, and I have an issue with that. And then we wonder why our communities look the way they do, because we shun our own people that want to do good work in the community. So we're going to have them on to have a great discussion about what's going on, to update the people of what's going on. So what's happening, AJ?
Not much, man. Had a great author talk yesterday at Damaris's studio. The first Latino-owned art gallery. I did my presentation for the women's book. Yesterday was International Women's Day. This is Women's Month. So
that's right.
So it did the whole thing. Also, before I go about that, it's also the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. I'm sorry. In Selma, crossing the bridge and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This weekend is the 60th. I wrote about that in piece today in Black history. This is the 60th anniversary. So we need to, remember that. I don't know if celebrate's the right word, but be in remembrance of it.
We
celebrate
need to remember
the achievement.
it.
Yeah.
Right. We need to remember it, soak it in, and act on it in 2025. Like there was so many. What's crazy is that there were so many sacrifices. And Conrad touched on it now. He touched on it before. There were so many sacrifices before to get us where we are today, and we are well ahead of where we are before in certain places. But we just never had a real economic plan. So now, hey, the People Before Politics, 4-star general, what's up, Jack Toon? So, who is you going off on the last video? I'm going to have a conversation about that. I'm not going to call no names, but he know who the fuck he is, though. Excuse my French. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it. So we have to have an economic plan now. We have to have a complete Black agenda. And I think with everything that has happened when the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement discussed it, you got people like Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Amos Wilson, and other people, even Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan was talking about, a Black economic plan. We have to begin to have this discussion on the national level. Boycotts is great. Boycotts, yes, it shows our power. It shows our power. But what is the or else? We're going to do this, but what's the or else? The or else is developing economic institutions in the Black community. Because right now, if you go in any Black community, everybody else got businesses in the Black community, but Black people. We have to start recognizing services and training our young people and our young adults to create services in the Black community that we spend money to those services, goods and services. And people that have that type of platform, a bigger than platform than Black Westchester, should be talking about it. We are the only ethnic group that do not have a food chain where we could trace our food from the farm to the store. We need to start working with our Black farmers and figuring out, because that creates jobs. Because people got to go, they got to transport it. We got to have stores to put the food in. So that creates jobs. We have to start thinking like free men and women. Right now, we're still thinking like slaves, and we're still worrying about what the white man is doing. We got $1.5 trillion of spending power. We need to start spending that money within ourselves.
Well, that's what I wrote when I encouraged people when they were doing the boycott to honor the boycott, but that wasn't enough. The money you're not spending at those places, spend that money with Black businesses.
Exactly.
Like specifically, the boycott. I saw the numbers. I don't remember what they are. Target and Walmart specifically, their numbers, they took a mad hit number wise, and I think their stock even went down a little bit. So but I wanted to say, going on what you said, with the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, everything that was done, the boycotts were done. But the boycotts on the bus boycott was changing legislation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where they can sit. And other boycotts and sit-ins and other things was changing legislation so Black people could vote. So that Black people could have, civil rights and eat where everybody else, like there wouldn't be a separate water fountain for white people and Black people. The protests and the boycotts, Martin Luther King, which a lot of people quote, and a lot of people and a lot of Black pastors say they move in the spirit of, that goes in line with what you said, the or else. Martin Luther King was meeting with the president. Like, yo, if you're not going to give me these things, you want me to calm these people down and stuff, but you got to give me something to go back to them with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he was sitting there and negotiating while the boycott stuff was going on, and some violence in some places. You know what I'm saying? We need to work on changing legislation, using these moments. See, I think we lose the fact of the difference between a moment and a movement. Boycotting right now, hurting Target and Walmart in their pockets and whoever else, is a moment, because you're going to go back and spend money with them anyway. What Damon was saying, without the or else, without the plan to change legislation, or we're not going to spend money with you until what? Until exactly. You do what? Until the elected officials do what? That's what Damon is talking about when he said the or else. Like, and there is no or else. There is no what. There is so okay. They took a hit. They're big million and billion-dollar corporations. Black people are gone. Some have already gone back. Some have already gone back to Target. Some have already gone back to Walmart. Some are hold out for maybe the month or whatever. But this they may get a rough month or two. But if black people just go back in business as usual, we had a moment that could have been a movement. You know what I'm saying? A movement takes a movement takes a plan. A movement leads to change. This is important, but there has to be something else attached to it. So
yeah, but I mean, first of all, we're doing it for DEI when black people did not benefit from DEI, and I think they really need to stop lying to black people. And I want to know who is cutting the checks to give this information to black people when you could just Google and see white women benefited the most from the DEI programs. Over 70%.
The whole boycott wasn't just for DEI, but go ahead.
Well, when you label it around that, because that's what started it off, right? So now when you label it around that, now if you're boycotting for economic power, I get it. But if you're boycotting for something that we didn't benefit from, you know, and I told you this, AJ, we know there's people behind the scenes that will cut big checks for a narrative. They will cut a lot of checks for a narrative. So the question is, when it started around DEI. So, but now we're talking about economic power. And then or else is what? We're going to create our own institutions, or we're going to support those businesses that support us. But like you said, it wasn't a clear or else. And the flyer that the National Action Network put out told people if they needed something, shop the day before. So what is the purpose? You already spent your money there.
Yeah, the only thing I agree with that part is if you needed gas, you get it the day before. If you're supposed to have a day where you're not spending no money and you got to go to work, get your gas the day before. Everything else is different. Like everything else, gas would be the only thing for me that you had to make sure you get
right. But you know what was the economic? You know what was the economic boycott? When nobody went to work for the Million Man March, all America shut down.
And I told you when I was in Georgia, when I don't know what happened. They were attacking the there was something going on with the Latinos and everything down there, and they wanted to prove a point. They just didn't show up to work.
They never went to work.
They did not show to work for one day and shut Atlanta and great parts of Georgia down. You didn't see traffic on the street. You didn't see a lot of things were not open. They made a point. Also, when Chick-fil-A made some comment, or I don't remember the details, I think about gays, LGBTQ. I'm sorry, I think that's the proper way. But whatever, they made a comment. They said, "Oh, we spend lots of money with you." And they didn't spend no money with Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A had to issue an apology and all this other stuff to get them to come back in because they showed in a very short time how important all that is to you, huh?
Look at Budweiser. They have never recovered from that commercial they put. They have yet to recover from that.
Who?
Budweiser.
Yeah, but they
never recovered.
They make up.
They have never recovered.
They support these sports teams and they do that, all that, and they got the black athletes all over the commercials.
Who drinks Budweiser? Who drinks Budweiser?
Not I.
Exactly, but you know who drink Budweiser? Just white men, basically.
Actually had a rhyme. Never drank Bud Dry. Never gave it a try.
And Budweiser has yet to recover.
But they have black athletes promoting their stuff.
Of course, but we ain't talking about black athletes. I'm talking about.
But if you have black athletes some black people will do what they see black athletes and black celebrities.
I mean, because we don't get it. Black people don't get it. White people get it. Right? I'm sorry. We still don't understand our economic power. We still don't understand it.
There are poor white people that don't get it. So there's like
yeah, but
I just want to make it say on the whole, all white people don't get it.
On the whole, white people get it. On the whole, we don't get it because we are the consumers. We are the consumers. We are the ones buying all the Gucci bags. Believe it or not, we are the ones that's owning more Mercedes-Benz than white families, and we make less, and we generate less wealth. We are the ones that do all that. $1.5 million consumers.
I think there was something that I read, and don't quote me because I don't have the date, the time where I read it, that at one point there were more Mercedes-Benz and BMWs in Mount Vernon than there was in Pelham or Pelham Manor, where more money was. Like but I want to be specific with words though. So white people in power and with money, those people, they do get it, but they have the lack of respect they have for us. They don't respect poor white people and poor anybody people. So you know what I'm saying? There's a group of groups of white people who get it and know how to weaponize it and know how to do what they got to do. But there's a whole bunch of poor white people.
No, I get it.
I want to be specific when we talk. You know, yeah.
Elijah Muhammad said what? 85% of the people. He never said a color or deaf, dumb, and blind.
That's the 5%. That's what the 5% believe too.
Well, that came from Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's what they preach. The 5% preach that. Yeah.
Right. Let's get that straight. It came from the Nation of Islam. So 85% of the people. He never said a color. He just said 85% of the people are blind, deaf, and dumb.
And we only make up 40%.
He never mentioned the color. So what he's saying is that covers all races.
Right. Exactly. Because we only make up 14%. So yeah.
Right. No, well, the total people, 85% are deaf, dumb, and blind, and they're ruled by the They ruled by the 10%. Right. So we got that. Look, 85 of black people are blind, deaf, and dumb, and ruled by 10% of black people. That number goes across all ethnic groups.
Black people,
because black people have a certain class of people that believe that they're the elite over the rest of the people.
I interviewed Pam Grier years ago, and she was the first black woman to get a multi-movie deal back then. And when we were talking about racism in Hollywood, she says more than racism, she sees it. The biggest issue is classism. Like if they feel you belong, they respect you, and if they don't include you in that, you it don't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no respect for you. And you know, I'm sure a lot of that had to do with what she loved, how she looked, because white men was crazy over Pam Grier too. But she was one of the few. She was the first to get a multi-movie deal, like her own movie deal that she started and all that. And she said she sees the biggest problem is classism. It's those who have that group of people that control everything, and then everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And that's right. What she was saying about when she came up in the 70s and in the late 60s, early 70s, when she was making her movies or whatever the movies were. She's talking about that era when she got her deal. So, and she said it hasn't changed much. And this interview was about 10 years ago. With Jackie Brown might have been the interview, whenever that was. And she said, you know, and it hasn't changed much now. Since
I don't spend my money where I'm not respected.
I think
I don't force nobody to take my money.
Brother, you know,
I was so disgusted when I saw that video of Jim Jones when he was being disrespected in Gucci, and to prove a point, he bought like $45,000 worth of stuff. That was stupid. I would have walked out and went into another Gucci store where I would be respected as a customer.
Or just went to a different brand, like Prada or someone another brand altogether.
Look, salespeople are ignorant, right? I was with a big time pastor. He had Louis Vuitton luggage, but he had it for years. So it was old school Louis. He took it to the Louis Vuitton store to get it fixed. And the girl told him it was fake. And he lost his mind. He called for the manager. The manager came out, said his name. Hey, how you doing? Oh, great to see you. And he went off. And the girl got scolded and everything. So she thought this black man was coming in here with this fake old luggage, which was probably older than her. But that's the perception.
When you buy quality, things last forever.
Yeah, absolutely. My mother's always say. Yeah. My mother's always say, you buy cheap, you buy twice.
Or 3 times or 4 times. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's a perception. But I don't force nobody to take my money. I will never, if I feel disrespected, even in a restaurant, if I feel that you're too slow, I'm going to get up and leave because I'm spending my money. And I will leave. So this is we have to respect our economics. That is the thing. Marching, rallying, that's cool. It makes it good. It's a feel-good feeling in the heart. It makes you feel good. It makes people that usually don't get involved with anything feel that they are actually involved in it. But I've been marching and rallying and having press conferences for 30 years, and we're still talking about the same thing. Because we never put or else to it. We never put or else to it. And right now, the Republicans control the White House, they control the Senate, and they control the House of Representatives. All this other stuff people are doing don't mean nothing. You got to work across the aisle because we're going to be sitting here for 2 years and nothing's going to get done. I don't care about dancing to Kendrick Lamar. I don't care about all this crazy distraction stuff that they're putting up on social media. What are you going to do? If you say that the Republicans are going to take away Medicare and Medicaid, what are you doing to sit down with them to make sure that that bill doesn't do it? What are you going to do? How are you going to sit down and negotiate? That is partisan politics. And I just wrote an article where I actually agreed with George Lattimore in what he said, because he gets it. He has always got it. He's never been a liberal. He's always been a centrist. He's always been a moderate Democrat. So we have to figure out I don't care about none of this stuff. I want to know from these politicians, what are they going to do? How are they going to fix it? How are they going to sit and change these bills? See, because if you got, let's say the Republicans got 4 Republicans that ain't feeling it, they're going to need Democrats' votes to pass the bill. So get something for it instead of complaining. That's the part of negotiation. I was a union delegate for 13 years, was on negotiating teams 2 times. And one of the contracts made corrections, the highest paid law enforcement department in Westchester County in the 90s. You have to sit and negotiate.
Well,
there's always a give and take.
It has to be transactional, not emotional.
But right now they're emotional.
No. And I think that's what the others understand, that it's transactional. Everything is transactional. You know, you want this, but then I need you to vote for me. Okay, so what's it gonna cost? You know what I'm saying? I need you to do this. This is what I need. So a lot of this goes with having a plan, a Black agenda, because even in those moments, because those moments happen, but even in those moments, if we don't have a Black agenda, when they say, well, what is it going to cost? Like, again, going back to Martin Luther King, he told them what it was going to cost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need you to do this and it's going to cost these things. Like, what is it going to cost? You need to be like, I need this, this, and this. You're not going to get everything. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to move sometimes where okay, I'm going to give you this, but I'm going to need this and this. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do it without this.
Absolutely.
And then and they might blow you off, and they might try to go to other people, but then when they can't get them and they definite knows over there, they can come back and be like, oh, so what is it you need? And they're willing to give you something. It's transactional, just so they can say they put it through and they made it happen. So we have to understand transactional politics. Politics is transactional.
Exactly. And all
like
this,
Reggie, like one of the first things Reggie taught when I first started people, Black Westchester, I tell people I didn't know nothing about politics. I wasn't really big in politics. One of the first things Reggie told me, he said, you'll find out there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent interests.
No permanent enemies.
Now, no permanent enemies, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. Now, he didn't make that up. He's not the author of that, but he always said that. And as I worked and saw the difference from the Ernie administration to the Ritchie administration to the next administration to Sean, and the people at work, I got it. You know what I'm saying? The people, the changes in the different offices and the different other offices, I got it. The people, seeing people that were at each other, though hating each other, but now they're working together because, you know what I'm saying? There's some benefits, some mutual benefits, some mutual interest. And we are more, you supporting that person, I support this person. There are people in Mount Vernon, I have said this often, there are people in Mount Vernon who are family members who are no longer speaking to each other because they each supported someone else. And they got so emotional that they've done things that have crossed the line that they can never go back from. That was bigger than that was outside of politics. And now family members are not speaking, brothers, sisters, parents, and kids, friends, you know what I'm saying? Because of stuff like that. These emotional things, these emotional ties that we have, and blind loyalty to anything is not good. And that doesn't get you anywhere. But we can continue the conversation later. I see that our guest
no, I think we're waiting on one more person.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to acknowledge. I see you, brother. We'll bring you in when your guest comes in. Let us know, and we'll definitely get you going. So, yeah. So there has to be a plan. See, and I said this on Tasha's show. She does a show on Mondays through the Black Westchester platform. Even because her show dealt with faith and spirituality and stuff like that. So the other side is using religion, Christian nationalism, to take over how they want and to get what they need to get. They're using that. Black people are the most spiritual people I know. Why are we not fighting? We talk about faith and all those things. We have no faith in our fight. You can't have one you can't have a fight and you can't have without faith. You just can't. We don't get that. And I go back to, and I keep using this example because we exposed it, AIPAC and Jamal Bowman. We can continue to be mad at AIPAC, or we can realize that this group saw a man who was a threat to their interests and was very outspoken. So they spent untold money to get him replaced with somebody who was more in line with their interests.
Right.
That's what we should be doing, getting people out of office, even locally, who do not have our interests at heart, and backing candidates who do. Like these people keep putting the playbook out there, and we sit there and we get emotional and we have these and we complain about it,
distractors.
But still,
we have paid distractors. We have paid distractors.
I get it.
Let's just call it what it is, bro. We have paid distractors. We have activists that are paid. They are paid to keep us in the rabbit hole. They're paid. And you know it, and I know it. And some of them are paid just to keep quiet. And this is why we could never get in front. And they give them, it's no different than AIPAC. They give them what they're supposed to talk about. They give them the talking points. They give them whatever statistics they want them to talk about, and they cut them a check. And these Negroes go out here and they take us down the rabbit hole every time. And we have to start being honest about it. And we have to start calling these people out for doing what they're doing to Black people. Because it doesn't make any sense how we are the most educated Black people on the planet. And we have no infrastructure, and we have no political agenda. And barely have institutions. Even with our education and doctorate degrees, we don't even see that. And until we have these real conversations about it, we'll still be marching for jobs and justice, as we've been marching for the last 60 years. 60 years. So when you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, what is it? What is it?
Insanity.
Exactly. But now when you add on this type of identity politics that they thrown in, it's become a mental illness. A mental illness that they have inflicted on Black people through mainstream media and the newspapers. And then when they call independent media like ours, they call us crazy. Exactly. 100%. 100%. And you know why Jews stay in power? Because they're in the Republican Party and in the Democratic Party. Right here in Westchester, the husband will be in one party, the wife will be in another party. So no matter who's in office, they have a seat at the table. We take ourselves totally out of the political process, being committed to one party. And it doesn't even have to be the Republican Party. New York, you got the Working Families Party, you got the Green Party. But we take ourselves out of the total political process, and anybody got a little bit of money in the bank and it got a financial advisor, what did they tell you to do? Diversify your funds. So why don't you diversify your political clout?
We had, to give an example, because, we're not even talking about nationally. Here in Westchester, big story came out that George Latimer had a fundraiser at a Trump supporter's house.
Exactly.
George Latimer said, no, the husband is Republican, but the wife threw him the fundraiser.
Exactly.
The husband is a known Trump supporter and everything.
Exactly.
And yes, that's his house because he's married. But
who got the
it
money?
was the
But
wife.
he's the
It
one
was
with
the
the
wife.
money.
Right. It was the wife who threw the fundraiser, though. So the
Right.
wife.
But he's the one with the money.
The wife was supporting. So that's. I mean, we just had that was a big issue here locally.
No, but that just shows. It just shows that we are still playing checkers while they are playing chess. And until Black people stop following some of these leaders and pastors down the rabbit hole and think like free Black men and women, we will always be marching. Because that's how they tickle our fancy. Is a march and a rally, and nothing gets done. I'm tired of it. And I know there's cats that's older than me, like Ron Hampton. He tired of it too. And he's been doing it damn near longer than me. And there's other brothers that's old that are tired of it. Dude, I thought in 1994, when I joined the National Black Police Association and saw how strong it is, I thought freedom was around the corner. And here, 30 some odd years later, I'm talking about the same thing that they have been talking back then. So who's the fool? Who's the fool?
When we talked about criminal justice, the George Floyd situation in the aftermath of that was supposed to be the difference. That was supposed to be the difference maker. Everything was supposed to change, and we're still fighting the same things. So we had this international movement, almost every American city, like 28 other countries. Everybody was marching. It was the middle of COVID. People had to pick between staying home and being safe and going out and protesting and all that. And it was such a powerful movement. Other companies, they started little things, and there were certain concessions made or whatever. That was supposed to be the case that changed things. Like in the Bible, there's like before Christ and after BC and AD. It was supposed to be before George Floyd, after George Floyd. I'm still covering the same stories. I noticed that Brother Rodney Bynum is one of the people watching. I'm still covering stories of his cousin being shot in cold blood by a New Rochelle police detective. You know what I'm saying? We're still doing the same stories. And the AG didn't press no charges, and the internal investigation showed there was nothing, you know what I'm saying, that there was no violation of policy. We're still fighting the same, and I want to bring it locally because we always talk about national stuff. I want to bring it local. We're still fighting the same fight, and that was supposed to make a difference. That was supposed to be the watershed moment, but we're still covering the same stories. Matter of fact, New Rochelle had 2 Black people killed since George Floyd by the police.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I got our guest, and I know he's here to talk about other things, so we can continue our conversation later. But I just wanted to put it in perspective, and it's always good to bring things home locally. Like, you know what I'm saying, the things we're talking about, because
right.
Bottom line is, it doesn't matter what's going on nationally. What are you doing locally to change your community, your state, your city, your county? You have more influence and more impact on to change that than you do what's going on the national level. We're
going to welcome Marvin Church and Diana Williams. They're the co-founders of the Environmental Leaders of Color. Acting Executive Director Diana Williams and Marvin Church is the Associate Director. And welcome, brother. Welcome. Well, is Sister Diana? Are y'all sharing the screens?
No, the boss is on another thing that I wasn't aware of. So I'm going to handle everything tonight.
All right.
He's doing just what you said, Damon. They're diversifying. She handling one thing, he's handling another.
No. That's the way it's supposed to be.
What you said. That's just what we was talking about.
No, that's the way. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm not mad at all. I just want to fix the screen here and get a nice, center screen.
I'm not as handsome as you two brothers, so I'm doing the best I can.
I'm not handsome at all, man. But welcome, man. Welcome, brother Marvin. What's going on, man? Tell us. I did a video a while back on your project and what you was doing, because I really thought it was very important for people in Mount Vernon, especially in Mount Vernon, but what the greater Westchester community too, to see that the work that you're doing with children in Mount Vernon and all over Westchester. And
I agree with you. We were doing a lot of work, and one thing that we have not been doing enough of is promoting what we've actually done in our backgrounds and what we've done in the community. So I'd like to have the opportunity to talk about what we've done in the community and our background and things like that, so people get to know us, because a lot of people just don't know us at all.
Right. So what is the Environmental Leaders of Color?
Well, it's a sustainable and environmental organization, and we work with young people from 9th to 12th grade, and we are focused in various cities throughout Westchester County. But before I'd like to parlay that into talking about our background and going into environmental leaders of color and other things that we're doing, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
Okay. And so first thing I'd like to take this moment to share some light on impactful work that my partner, Dr. Damon Williams, and I, Marvin Church, have been doing in Mount Vernon and the surrounding areas. Dr. Dinah Williams is a dentist who holds an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration. She has dedicated a career to providing dental care underserved communities, including Harlem, New Rochelle, and Portchester. As an executive director of the Doctors Council, she has been a strong advocate for healthcare accessibility. Long before the onset of COVID crisis, Dinah voiced her concerns about the closure of the Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital, emphasizing urgent need for hospital beds in case of a pandemic. Additionally, she co-founded Comrie Enterprises, LLC in 2001, aimed at facilitating energy retrofits for low, middle income families. In 2021, she launched the Environmental Leaders of Color, focusing on advocating vulnerable communities affecting climate change. As for myself, I'm Marvin Church. I'm originally from Peekskill, New York. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration, as well as an MBA. My careers encompass roles at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, Bank of America, Bank of New York, Loan Workout Group, Barclays Bank Investment Banking Group, Regional Director of Downstate HCR that provided finance for major developments of multifamily units in downstate, and also with Westchester County Transportation Commissioner. I have actually participated in various volunteer works, having led the NWC and Peekskills chapter. Together, Diane and I have made significant contributions to Mount Vernon through our various initiatives, including training local residents in heat pump installation, resulting in over 400 units being installed since 2021. Securing funding for the thermal district system in Mount Vernon East Corridor. Providing financial support in local organizations during the pandemic. Establishing environmental leaders of color, socially and financial vulnerability for vulnerable communities on climate issues. Offering several programs for high school students, including a 6-week summer program. Launching an advanced computer program that equips students with skills akin to those who absorb more fluent peers. Over 100 out of the 500 students we've participated and graduated from our program are from Mount Vernon. Supporting student initiative, Don't Strain Your Drain program, where students promote the proper disposal of used cooking oil. sponsoring youth programs that offer stipends and cash prizes for outstanding performance. We have also had several acknowledgments, including recognition from New York League of Conservation Voters for outstanding non-for-profit work, congressional citations from U.S. congressmen for contributions for the city work we do in the city of Mount Vernon. All we received awards from the Mount Vernon YCOP Community Contributions, and also we just received an invitation in January from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, to educate their staff and some of the state and assembly people about Don't Strain Your program in Albany, New York. We also have our students participating in the Bedford 2030 Greenlight Award, and we received honorable mention last year, and we're hoping to win first, second, and third prize this year. And also, we just recently been awarded the 2025 African American Award for Westchester County Board of Legislature. Looking ahead, we have some exciting events we plan. Dr. Diane Williams will be guest speaker at the Women's Awards Ceremony on April 27th at 6 p.m. at SUNY Westchester Community College Annex. You have to register, you have to please RSVP. Comrie will also be offering an online and in-person heat pump training throughout April. Location to be determined. ELOC and Comrie will be co-sponsoring weatherization program event with the New York Power Authority at the Dole Center on April 3rd, 2025 from 6 to 8 p.m. City of Mount Vernon will also be co-sponsoring. ELOC will also host an Easy Breeze program with the Westchester County Board of Legislature, date pending. I will also lead a Zoom meeting with the asthma subcommittee involving minority school board members and community members from around the county. Currently, I am the Westchester County Advisory Board, African American Advisory Board appointment, and I'm co-chair of the asthma committee. Comrie has been working in the plans within locally in Mount Vernon for over 11 years for the YMCA. We are hopeful of this coming Wednesday that City Council will provide passage to our transit-oriented development district rezoning. Currently, we are looking to develop 272 units of development. In the development, we will include the headquarters for ELOC, Environmentalists of Color, and YCOP. In addition, we are developing arts component of 4,000 square feet of outdoor and indoor space. We're hoping the Arts District will encourage arts and encourage development of more restaurants and coffee shops and other services in downtown Mount Vernon. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview that a lot of people don't know my background, my wife's, my partner's background, to give you a good overview of our experience, our commitment to the city and the county and the state, and what we've been doing. So thank you for just giving me that little bit of time.
No, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. You should be applauded for the work that you have been doing for young kids of color, man.
So I want to say I actually attended. I saw one of the programs. It was kids from Mount Vernon, Yonkers, New Rochelle, and several other municipalities. I can't think of all of them right now. And at I guess they had the whole thing for the summer, and at the end they had this big event at the Yonkers Riverfront Library, I believe. And I got to see the projects each of the groups were working on. I got to see these kids thriving and really excited about the project. I mean, some of the projects I looked at, I was like, wow, I was blown away. Like some of the things that they were doing. And I got to see the work and working with YCOP, working with other organizations, youth organizations around the county. I got to see it firsthand, the result of it. And I was thoroughly impressed. Before that, I had heard about it. And even with him reading it, you can't get the full grasp of it. But when you see all the kids from all the different cities and all the things they're doing and all the things they learned and where they go from there, it just is mind-blowing, and it is to be celebrated. And I just wanted to, give a firsthand account of what I saw and experienced. It was a great thing, and I support the work that they do. So I just wanted to share that, like as someone who I was there. You know what I mean? I didn't just read this on a paper. I seen the kids. I seen the different groups. I seen all of it. You know, it
Thank
was.
you, AJ. We really appreciate that. Last year, we had 17 groups from out the county.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Some of the judges that saw some of the projects that the kids were doing said about 3 or 4 of them could be commercially developed for commercial projects.
Wow.
What we typically do out of all our programs, we pick the top projects, and we go to what we call the Bedford 2030 Greenlight Award, which 2 of our projects, we had 3, but 1 dropped out. So I'll just give you a brief synopsis of some of the projects we had last year. One project was from a group out of Yonkers, and the topic was human waste. And what they did, they used human waste, especially urine, and they created electricity from that urine to use it for electricity. It was phenomenal. We could not believe what they did. It was phenomenal.
that's
Another project we had kids using torn up plastic and making it into a bottle, soda bottle, to saying this is the future, what homes are going to be built out of plastic bottles, because it's going to be plastic bricks in order to build a home. Another project we continue having our project, we call our award-winning project called Don't Strain Your Drain, which helps young people and businesses not pouring cooking oil down the drain. And we're expanding that program right now. We're in right now in Port Chester, New Rochelle, and Mount Vernon. We're also expanding it into other locations along the Hudson Riverside. We're expanding our programs, still working on the Hudson Riverside. Dr. Diana spoke last September at a national conference in Arlington, Virginia, about our program. And we had a lot of good responses from entities around the country listening to her speech and what she did and what we're doing in the New York metropolitan area. So Diana's, I'm not the spokesperson like my wife is. Dr. Diana can speak. She's fluent. I'm just getting by.
I also want to say what's important in what you're doing. Kids are learning things that they don't learn in school, that they can go in areas. Like we always talk about, all kids may not be college bound, and all kids, we don't have enough trades and stuff, and we don't prepare our kids for what life after high school. We don't prepare our kids. What you're teaching them valuable. They're learning things that they can utilize and go in spaces that there's not a lot of us working in these spaces. We need to be involved in these things. A lot of people don't understand the whole environmental thing and why that's important. But there's not a lot of us in these spaces that are making these decisions and doing these things. So you're creating the future of that. Future leaders, like the name dictates, future leaders of color that are going to be in them spaces, that are going to be, responsible for some of the great achievements that go on that will benefit our communities. And that's a beautiful thing. And they're not learning this in school. You know what I'm saying? So beyond what you learn in school or whatever, you're giving them something extra to go into, not the traditional places that we teach our kids to go to. You know what I'm saying? You're giving them added skill set that's going to benefit those who want to take it serious. And now the kids have to want to take it serious and go there and do the work. But for those who did, like I seen a lot of the kids that I saw, they look pretty damn serious that they really want to go there and take it there.
Well, I'll tell you, and thank you very much, AJ, for that, because what we're developing is future leaders, and a lot of these young people, they do their research and they're very articulate.
Yes.
If you go on our website is www.elock.earth. You will see the kids' presentation that presented to Albany. And the bulk of the folks up in Albany, that didn't look like us. they were shocked and surprised at the presentations that our young people presented and the questions they asked of those state folks. They had to take notes, and we're still waiting for the questions to be answered because they couldn't answer some of the questions that the kids asked. You just don't know how proud we were. And also the person who helped co-sponsor us to get up there was State Assemblyman Gary Pritlow. And Gary is a proud father, seeing kids from Mount Vernon. And we have kids from all over.
And he's over Yonkers too. It was Yonkers kids there too. Yeah.
On our panel that went up to Albany, we had kids that were from Scarsdale High School, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Yonkers. We had kids from the Bronx. We had kids from Manhattan who might live in Mount Vernon. So the kids are very articulate. But if you go on our website, as I said, www.eloc.earth, you'll see some of the work we've been doing. Past speakers we've had at Environment Is the Color, a summer program. We had Associate General Counsel was Bruce Jackson, who's now retired from Microsoft. He was a panel speaker. We had the president of Mars Wrigley, who is, a lot of kids ask for the M&Ms and Snickers. He's a brother from Jackson, Mississippi, who lived right around the corner from Medgar Evers. But he's the president of Mars Wrigley. And he talked about the importance of sustainability and how he has to get cocoa from various Caribbean and African countries in order to have cocoa keep coming in to make the product that he makes. Okay. And we talked a lot about sustainability. Last year we had the young lady, she was on Nightline. She's from Rye. She spoke, and she's out of the media business, but now she is working on her master's degree at Columbia University. She learned about us in a local Examiner newspaper in Northern Westchester about us, what we do. And she inquired about us, and we asked her if she would speak. She was great. This year, we're going to be talking about climate and weather, which is going to be a fascinating subject for our young people this year. But with that, by them going and dealing with weather, I'm trying my best to get Al Roker to be our guest speaker. So
that's good.
Locally, Al used to live up in the Yorktown area a long time ago when I lived in Peekskill. It's hard to catch up with Al now, but I have some contacts. Made a phone call last week to the Bahamas, and people might not know, but Lenny Kravitz and Al are related, and Roxy Roker, who used to be on television, good television, they're related. So I met years ago Al Roker's cousins in the Bahamas. So I'm trying to get his number through his cousins in the Bahamas to reach me here in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah, Roxy is Lenny Kravitz's mom, right? That's
right.
Yeah, right.
That's right. That's right.
So
those are the things that we're doing. We're doing our work with our young people. We are heavily doing that, but people don't know what we do. People just think we're just doing a development project, just coming and do a development project, not putting in the work. If you would know the amount of money my wife and I put together for these kids in the programs and the money we have to access personally to keep these programs going, because we're not getting support from the local communities like we should. We're making a difference with the kids. And Damon's been on a couple sad phone calls with me with some of our kids going through some different crises, but they're good kids. They're talented, they're articulate. They want to be successful. Our program right now on Saturdays with our computer program. Last semester, the kids learned AI, cybersecurity, AI, blockchain, and coding. But what we had, every time we have kids to do a project and we learn a subject matter, they have to articulate what they learned and put it into a practice of a project. So last semester and last December, they had to build a gaming project from scratch and present it to our judges, their parents, and the community. Let me tell you, some of the kids stayed up all night to get their presentation lined up because they can win their prizes. I'm very proud of them. You'd be surprised. This semester, we're doing cybersecurity. Very important subject. And now what we've done is to use building a lab where the kids can utilize cybersecurity, knowing how the code's going. And what we're eventually going to have these kids do is to look at the VPNs. This is beyond me. I've just watched what the kids do and attack each other's websites to see how you can get into a
Wow.
somebody's site and block them into getting into.
Wow. That's great, man.
And these kids are from 9th to 12th grade.
That's great. And now
where that can take them.
But this is what we need to be teaching our children. We need to be teaching our children these things. And I hate to say it, like, for the city and the politics in the city, that Marvin, you and your wife have been for 10, 11 years going back and forth to get a property to not only build housing, but to build a center where you could be able to have a base and do these things for the children in Mount Vernon and Greater Westchester. And for and this is, I don't like, and this is what I was talking about with dealing with our politics. We do it to ourselves. It should have been a no-brainer for whatever mayor, whatever mayor, to make this happen. And I don't, and I really don't understand. And people in Mount Vernon should be calling City Hall to try to figure out, why are these programs doesn't have a base so more children can benefit from these programs? Because clearly the school system is in disarray. So we have to have homegrown institutions, and this is what I'm talking about, homegrown institutions within our communities that's going to help our people develop. And this is a prime example. What is the problem? The city is damn near broke. They need to sell the property off anyway. So they might as well make the process happen to someone that's vested in the community.
Well, thank you, Damon, for that. But at the same time, I have to give credit to a couple of members on the Mount Vernon School Board. They had really helped us to get some of those kids. Okay. And without some of their assistance and help, we wouldn't have had the kids we had. We have a total of about 25 kids. We have the capacity for 40 kids. I couldn't get 40 kids to be in a classroom, unfortunately, on Saturdays.
Wow.
Okay. So now I'm going to be reaching out to New Rochelle, some other school districts. I just had a meeting last week with Tarrytown Sleepy Hollow School District, met with the superintendent of New Rochelle to see if I can get more students from New Rochelle. I'm going to I met with the principal of Portchester High School, met with the superintendents up in Peekskill. So I've been going around the county, meeting with people to get them be aware of our program and how we can be instrumental for them. And the key word that I provide them, since there's major budget cuts coming on the horizon for school districts too, our program is FREE, free. Okay, right. You can't beat that when it's free.
Exactly.
But our program is basically that we embed ourselves in programs around the county, and we only allow an hour and a half for a child to be in our program per day. Because I didn't realize until we started out in 2001, that 2021, that young people have very short attention spans. So 90 minutes is the key.
Right.
So we might do that 3-4 times a week with our young people. We do it for 5 weeks in our program. And then the last week, we prepare them for presentation. And AJ's been there. Yes. AJ's been there. Others have seen what we've done. But these kids prepare. They prepare. We've had a lot of state legislators come into our things. They love our program. We've had state legislators come. They love our program. We've been asked to go into New Jersey, upstate New York. We just don't have the funding right now. To expansion, because some of the funders are very particular who they fund. I'm just being honest with you.
Right. So you got Rodney Bynum commenting from YouTube. Yeah, he's from New Rochelle, but he's watching from YouTube. Said he's interested in it for New Rochelle. I have 2 students for the program. So
also 9th to 12th grade. And they can contact us at info@eloc.earth. That's our email address. And we can review, because there's applications. It's a process.
Email. Spell out the email, Marvin.
Info, INFO, at ELOC, ELOC.earth, EARTH. That's our email address.
And then Rodney, if you have any problem getting through, I have both of y'all's contact, and I'll make sure I connect y'all in email.
So we've been doing the work. So, but as people will keep telling me, Marvin, you got to promote yourself and promote what you're doing, and you and your partner, because people just don't know. So we've been doing the work. We've been spending the money personally, as well as going after grants to try to make sure these kids have the best that we can do. We provide stipends for these kids, some of them. We provide some of our own private money for these kids. So we need the community to be of assistance to help us move our programs forward, because we're looking out for the kids. But I guess people don't know what I'm trying to do, because Damon knows I don't go begging for folks for too many things. We just do the work. That's what God's given us the opportunity to do. Just do the work, make sure people in our communities and our young people are successful. But I will tell you, even a month ago, when we had to give a presentation to the Mount Vernon City Council for our rezoning, I had 2 students from our team spoke. People were in awe of the articulation and the in-depth of these 2 students. But they don't understand that all of our students are just like that. And these are not A students. They might be B-, they might be B, they might be C+, but they get so comfortable with us and how we ingratiate them as being a family. They're part of our family. And that means if I have to get with a group of folks to go buy one of our students clothes, shoes, or whatever, that's what we do. I don't need to have it publicized. That's what we do.
You know what?
I've had parents talk to me, Marvin, I wish there were more people like you. After each class, they said, you act like you're the old headmaster. You're outside of the classroom on Saturdays, welcome kids in the class, and when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we're not used to seeing that. But we encourage the kids to speak their minds, speak up, ask questions that you don't have to, that typically they want to ask, they wouldn't ask in the classroom, but we want them to learn. We need to open their minds to the certain point so they have freedom of thinking. Because as you always said, Damon, to me, sometimes our brain gets clogged with all the junk that we receive. But if we allow our young people to express themselves within certain reasons, to understand the subject matter, we reward them for not asking questions.
I wonder also say and this is to the residents in Mount Vernon. So I want to say 2 things, actually. I remember going to at least one town hall, or maybe 2, where you and your team put together the presentation for the community. And what disturbed me was not, I think we should question anybody who wants to come in our community. That wants to build anything in our community, we should. But there were individuals that wanted to be adversarial and wanted to ask questions that they had never asked any white developer that has come and built in this community and done things that were not beneficial to us. That's 1. 2, to the people of Mount Vernon, they always like, oh, we don't know them, we don't see them. As you said, there's a lot of things that you do. You don't publicize it. You just do the work. I'm not going to name situations. I'm not going to name people, but I have personally seen who they are. I have personally seen you and your wife invest in this community and exponentially in a lot of situations where people needed help, and you put your money where your mouth is. You're there. You've invested in the community. Things you don't ask for, things you don't publicize. I'm not going to embarrass the people by mentioning their names, and I'm not going to, talk about the dollar figures or anything like that, because it's not about that. I just want Mount Vernon residents and those who watch this to know, I know this man to invest in this community, invest in a lot more, invest in this community a lot more than some of our elected leaders, current and past. I'm I'm not targeting anybody here. Some of our other stakeholders in the community that hold these titles and they whatever, I've seen you and your wife do for this community in many different ways. And if people were to know any of those stories, they would just be amazed. Again, I just wanted to, I've firsthand seen some of this. So the people need to know, not only is it a Black developer, not only is it a developer from Mount Vernon, but it's two individuals who invested a lot in their time and even their money in Mount Vernon, with the people and some of the institutions in Mount Vernon. And that's all I'm going to say. But people need to know that. And, you probably will be like, oh, AJ, you don't have to say all that. But you know what? People need to, because people go, what have they done? You all these questions you don't ask. Like people ask us, what y'all do for the community? You never ask LoHUD what they did for the community. The things we ask. Nobody ever asks News 12 reporters, what you doing for my community? I ain't never heard nobody ask the white lady from News 12 that. But you know what I'm saying? But so I can relate, and I want people to know, you do a lot for the community. And again, with no fanfare, with no alternative motive, not for their vote, not for a political favor that they owe you, nothing. You know what I'm saying? You've done a lot. So I don't want to prolong it, but I wanted to put that out there, and hopefully someone in the community is hearing this on why they should support your team and this project. I personally have been involved in some of the town halls and the dissemination of information of this project. I personally believe in this project. I personally believe this would be a great project for Mount Vernon and maybe even some surrounding areas. And some of the things, we've already done the presentations and everything. I'm not going to do all that again. But, I mean, it's online. People can see it. Some of the things that you're planning on doing are great for our community. And in the area where you're thinking about doing it, is going to revitalize that area. Like, not only will people benefit that are going to be in the building and come in the building and for the program, but the remaining, when it says a rising tide rises all ships, or whatever that expression is, everybody is going to benefit from this. The community, surrounding community, will benefit from this development as well.
Well, thank you so much again, and you know how I am, but it is painful sometimes when you hear that you're not doing anything.
Right.
But people just don't know, as Damon and you always tell me, AJ. We don't like the tooting our horn. We're just not the kind of people that toot our horns. We just like to get the work done. But unfortunately, we're going to have to start tooting our horn a little bit.
That's why I wanted to toot your horn, because there's certain things you're not going to say. So I was like, let me toot your horn real quick.
Yeah. But one last thing I'll say is that if my wife and I were more good on social media, people would know about us. But we're going to get some young people aboard with us to start working on our social media to let people really know and blast out what we're doing, because it's important. So you'll be hearing from us a lot more than you think. And after we start putting the message out there, you might be sick of us after we finish putting a message out.
No, man. Hey, listen, you got to promote yourself. You got to promote your brand. You got to market it. You got to let people know what you're doing. It is a service for the community that the community needs to know about, and the community needs to participate in it. It doesn't cost them any money to send their child to learn these skills, these skills that are definitely needed if our young people are going to survive in this up and coming AI blockchain world. We're turning a corner from digital to AI and blockchain and all this other stuff that we need to be prepared for. I remember they used to tell me, "Oh, you got to learn Spanish, man. Make sure in high school, make sure you learn Spanish." Then the next thing you say, make sure you learn the computers. You got to learn the computers, right? Then it was something else. then it was something else. And a lot of times, our communities, people of color, Black and brown people, we are always behind the curve. We are never riding the curve or anticipating the curve to come. We're always behind the curve. So we have to use people like you and Dr. Diana to allow our children to be ahead of the curve. You know, so when we get around there, we have children that are prepared for the change that's coming. We it's like we don't even see the change coming, man. Like we just don't see it. And it's coming, and we have to prepare our children. And that's how we create generational wealth, because we're a part of the change. So, I thank you for what you're doing.
One thing. I appreciate that, but I want to say another thing quickly. I'm also, as I said, I am on the Westchester County African American Advisory Board, and I'm co-chair asthma. Right. And with my persuasion, you're on that committee, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, health and wellness, man. We got to get our young people.
I understand. So what I did was that I only can focus on African American issues throughout the county. So what I did, I looked at every school district in Westchester County. And what I did, I took a quick survey, and any school district that had 10% or more African-American students in the county, that's the ones I've asked people from those municipalities to be on my advisory board. Now, out of that, all these counties in Westchester County, there's only 7 school districts with African-American students with 10% or more in the entire Westchester County.
I believe it.
And they're named New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Yonkers, Peekskill, Elmsford, Greenburgh, and White Plains. That's it.
Yeah, I believe it. Westchester is the most segregated city. It's more segregated than the South, and I keep saying that, and we just don't see it. And we don't even want to talk about it.
And the asthma rate among our people in the city. So why did I target going into the school districts versus going out into the community? I'm going to have some community leaders on my panel in discussion. I'm going to have some school board members, because the bulk of our children are being affected by asthma.
Exactly.
And we have a high IPE rate of students in various school districts throughout Westchester County, especially in our Black communities.
What is IPE? What did you say? What was that?
IEP.
What does that stand for?
Students that have some challenges.
Okay.
I'm going to put it like that, easily. Challenges. And that costs each district a lot more money than the average student.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Mount Vernon, for example, in 2011, we had over 10,000 students in our district. We had 11% IEP students. Currently, we have about 6,400 students in our district. 6,400 students in our district. 6,400 in the Mount Vernon School District. Okay? 20% of the students have our IEP.
Mm-hmm.
There are challenges, as Damon and I talked, and we'll talk about more when we get to the point of the asthma committee. That has a big impact on the populations. Okay? Why does it have a big impact on the populations? Because the cost per student keeps going up.
Right.
If you look at districts, in certain districts throughout Westchester County, it's not as high as certain districts with the high EP rates.
Mm-hmm.
But we have housing issues with old housing throughout Westchester County, which encompasses mold, mildew, asbestos. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's in our homes. We breathe lead, air quality, tree pollens, trucks going through our roads and system. That creates the issue of asthma and other related diseases. And as Damon said, health wellness. That has a big impact on us.
Exactly.
So those are things I talk about. So I saw a comment, somebody asked about Tuckahoe, Ossining. And what was the other city?
Valhalla.
Valhalla.
You do not have a
I don't think Valhalla is 10%.
No. Any of the districts that I named, the 7, have average of 10% or more. Those districts are below 10%.
Yeah, I know Valhalla is below 10%.
Yeah, so I could not take into consideration of going to these districts. I had to do a cutoff, even though I know there's a major impact, because I can't do that right now until I start building up data and consensus among the groups within these other major cities where the high asthma rate. Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, and Yonkers is very high throughout the county, and other areas. I mean, even majority white areas, when I discussed it with the county board of legislature, they didn't realize they have certain high areas of air quality. So I'll be more than happy to come on the show again, Damon, when we start doing our committee meetings, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And discuss what's the impacts on the school district and the percentage of Black students in the entire districts throughout this county, which I have all the data. But that's where it is right now. So I'm sorry I couldn't take in those other 3 cities and towns and villages, but they don't have they didn't meet the 10% cutoff rate that I was looking at.
Right. And you know what? It's funny when I was living in Greenberg, it was called Hartsdale Central 7. When more Hispanic and Black people, more Hispanic people, because Greenberg was a decent Black town. But when more Hispanic people started coming in, next thing you know, it was Greenberg Central 7. It wasn't Hartsdale no more. They pulled that name off there. So, we can see, and Westchester's just segregated.
Greenberg's about 30%, 30.2% African American right now. Okay. And the remaining
and
is
I think it was
what
more.
you discussed.
Yeah, I think when I was coming up, when they had all those Black businesses going down 119, I think the population was probably higher.
It was
back then.
It was.
Yeah.
I
think it was probably higher.
New Rochelle is about 19.2% or 18.2% minority students in the New Rochelle schools. Mount Vernon 63%. Yonkers is about 19-something%. Peekskill's about 15.2%. So, as I said, I had to look at a cutoff, but we can start looking at that later on. And if people want to participate in working with me on the asthma committee, they can also reach me at info. No, send to my personal. It's Marvin, MARVIN, .m church, CHURCH, @gmail.com. But these are important issues that we need to be looking at in our communities. But as Damon told me, I can't do everything.
Exactly.
I got to spread it around.
Exactly.
I'm only one person.
Right.
But I'm trying to do the work as much as I can, but we need other people to participate and work, help us.
Exactly. Anything else you need to tell anybody, Marvin?
Well, we're going to be going back to City Council on Wednesday night, and we're praying that the City Council will move forward to pass the legislation for the rezoning of Transit-Oriented Development Arts District. The last meeting we had, AJ, you were online. We had about 60 people online. The City Council chambers were packed, and people were very supportive to move forward with this project. This will be the first project on the south side in the city of Mount Vernon. What I'd like to do is to try to, as Damon always talked about, we would like to see one Mount Vernon, not 2 Mount Vernons, but one Mount Vernon. And I'm trying to bring people from all sides to come in to be one Mount Vernon. Because if we provide services for downtown, that we can learn how to circulate the dollars in downtown or Mount Vernon, period.
That's right.
Because right now our economic dollars are going outside of Mount Vernon. And we're not getting, people want to have great services, but if we don't raise our income base in the city of Mount Vernon, we're not trying to exclude others, but we have to raise our income base in order to improve our schools, improve our tax base, and those sort of things. So I'm a product of public housing in Peekskill, that my family finally was able to buy a home in the city of Peekskill. So I'm not. I know what the harrowing ideas of living in public housing and going from there and living in a home and living. I'm just not like that. So that's what we're looking for people to help us with on this coming Wednesday. And I've announced some of the things that we're going to be involved with. And if you want to participate, that's great. And we'll be going around the county with other services. But that's what we do. And if people really want to know, I'm more than happy to speak to other organizations. But sometimes when you invite people to come and you would like to speak to them, they don't want to hear from you because they don't want to hear what you're doing. Because they said, well, you're a developer. You're just trying to develop. I put in the work. My wife and I have been putting in the work for a long time. And I'm going to ask you, where were you? That's all.
Is there a comprehensive plan for business districts in Mount Vernon? That's a question everybody's been asking. Is there a plan, period?
Yeah, that's not for me to answer. Okay. I come from a real estate development background. I'm aware of a lot of things, but that's not my job. I don't get paid for that. I'm focusing right now on that redevelopment of 2 block areas in downtown Mount Vernon, which is it's costing our developer partners and myself over $1 million something just to redevelop that area for 2 blocks over by the county office building, over by 3rd Avenue, up by Unity Baptist Church on 1st Avenue. That 2 block radius to redevelop is cost us over $1 million something just for redevelopment. So what's going to happen if we get the zoning approval? Other development projects can come into those areas. And if they want to do market rate housing, they can do market rate housing. But it won't take them 11, 15 years like it's taken me. They'll be able to maybe turn this around in maybe a year and a half or less. And that's going to provide additional revenue to the city of Mount Vernon.
And for that question that you were asked, that is a question for City Hall. Y'all need to call City Hall and email your elected officials that run the city. That is a question. Like if you we need to ask questions to the appropriate people. Your mayor, your city council, City Hall. They were the ones that would be responsible or participate in coming together with a comprehensive plan. Period. Much less one for the business district. So that's a question. There's a whole lot of people running. There's a whole lot of people running around here trying to get you to sign their petitions, and so they can make it on the ballot. Ask them what they think about a comprehensive plan. What's their plans if they get in for a comprehensive plan? Ask those questions. See, it's the time to ask the questions now before you vote for them, and they don't do, and you don't get what you want. This is the time to ask those questions now. They need your vote. They need your signatures to even get on the ballot. They need your vote to get in the office. Ask them about this and anything else that is of concern to you that you want done and that's of your interest. This is the time to ask.
Yep.
So, like I said, if anybody ever wants to ask me about my background, be more than happy to talk to them about it. Now it's open season. I'll be more than happy to say that. And I'll put my record up on anybody in this city of what I've done and what we've done in the community and around the state and around the country.
And put his record against any other developer that has come in the city and has made it in development and any of the developers that's here. I would be willing to put my money that he's equal and sometimes might be even better than some of the developers that we've had that have come through here. And he has a vested interest in the community, unlike a lot of the developers who come here to make some money and take the money out of the community to make money.
Well, I'll say this point to you guys. When I was the regional director for housing for HCR, all the major developers, I knew all the major developers from New York City, Westchester, Rockland, all along Long Island. I know all of them because I provided funding for them to build their housing in certain communities. I know what their track record is. I know what they did and when they got started, when they got scoring on trying to get the money. So
Exactly.
I'm kind of familiar with a lot of developers, even the new ones. I'm familiar. I do my background. I look at what they do, what they do in the communities. But just tell me, how many developers have done the work before they started doing any work in the cities that they wanted to build in? Just ask that question of them. But no, what they do is that they get the developments approved, and then they want to provide something for you, but they don't do it before and after. We're doing before and after because it's important. We are members of the city of Mount Vernon, and we are vested in this community. But if you can tell me how many developers in town right now, or even before, that invested in this city, what my wife and I have been doing over the number of years that we've been doing it, please let me know.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for the work you're doing, and people, please contact their organization. And if you're in Mount Vernon and you want programs like this, call City Hall. Call City Hall and make sure that they get programs like this in the city. There's a great couple doing great work in the city, man. Great work in the city. Marvin, before you sign off, man, please give your contact information again. So just in case.
Okay. So if you're interested in looking at ELOC's website, it's www.eloc, E-L-O-C, .earth, E-A-R-T-H. That's our website. If you want to email ELOC, it's info, I-N-F-O, at eloc, E-L-O-C.earth. That's our email address. If you want to contact us on our Adopt Clean Energy program, Commerce Price program that we work in Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, providing heat pumps and geothermal consulting that in conjunction, we work in conjunction with the Urban League of Westchester and NYSERDA. You can look at our website is www.adopt, D-O-A-D-O-P-T, clean, C-L-E-A-N, energy, E-N-E-R-G-Y, .earth, all one word. That's our website for adoptcleanenergy.earth. If you want to look at our small website for ELOC, it's www.comrie.biz. So it's www.comrie, C-O-M-R-I-E.biz. And our email address there is info, I-N-F-O, at comrie, C-O-M-R-I-E, .biz. So those are the information you have, and I'll be more than happy to share. Is it safe to give them my cell number, or is it not safe?
I think your email and the website, everything.
Yeah. Email website is good. If it's all there in the comments. You're good, man.
Okay.
Thank you. You're good. But Marvin, yeah, thank you very much, man. Thanks for coming on, and good luck, man. Good luck, and we'll talk very soon. AJ?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, AJ.
And keep doing the work. I know the frustration that you and even one of your partners have felt. One of the people that were involved in it, I don't know if they're still involved, that was involved in the beginning, because they can go somewhere else and do another project. You know what I mean? Like, they wanted to invest. You brought other people to invest in this community. So just keep doing the work, man. And it's, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And we hire college students each summer, and we always hire college students from our communities to work with us. We also we're hiring students now to work with us in our programs with environmentally color. So that's what we do. We also employ people too, but they have to meet certain threshold. Thank you again.
All right, my brother.
Thank you. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Thank you again. Have a good evening.
All right.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care now.
Yeah, the applause, it comes through a little bit. It don't come through all the way. It's just like at least on my computer, I don't know what it sounds like on the
I don't know, man.
On the screen.
It's low. You said it's low. How about it?
Yeah, it's like it came through and it broke up. like it didn't, like it wasn't continuous. Like I don't know. Other people who's listening, you can tell me if you can hear it. It could just be
I don't even know if you can hear it. If y'all can hear the applause, let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear the applause. Because I in my end, I don't even. I need a headphones, but I don't even hear it, man.
Right, that's
my
thing. The thing that you get, I got to put the headphones just to hear that. So that's why sometimes I'm
yeah. But let me definitely. I think everybody needs to please go to blackwestchester.com, man. Like, oh, yo, where you at, AJ? Oh, there you go. Go check us out on blackwestchester.com. Please go on it and check out the stories we got, man. You got a 16-year-old Yonkers activist speaking out about gun violence.
I just want to say that story, that was very, as an editor, that was very well written, and it is important to hear the voices of the youth. And I encourage everyone to read that young lady, because a lot of young people are not writing, and you might not agree with every point she makes, but we need to hear from the youth, and she's out there advocating. Her email was sent to me as a letter to the editor. It was sent to all, Damon. She sent it to all the elected officials in Yonkers. They were all in the email too, and she sent it to other, like she's trying. And I was like, yo, this really needs to get seen by people. So please go read that. Leave a word, leave your feedback, positive feedback in the comment section for her. She is the future. It's, so that I was very, and it's very well written. It was well written. Damon, I had to go look up a word or two. Like, wait, what does that mean? Like, I had to, like, it was very well written. Yes.
Right. And the unfortunate tragedy that happened yesterday, man, which was kind of crazy, and I wanted to talk about it, man. 14-year-old shot and killed a 5-year a cop, 5 years on the job. And when I posted it, and you got some people, it's good for the police and this and that and this and that. But my whole thing is this, I don't celebrate death on either side. And coming from a family of law enforcement who serves the community, this is unacceptable. And when people hear the story that the cop didn't even get out the car and got fired on, 14 years old. What is a 14-year-old doing with a gun? And if a 14-year-old got a gun, it had to be a grown-ass man that got it for him. See, we got to begin to call out our Frankensteins in our communities. We got to start calling out for decency in our communities. I don't care if anybody says this happens, in other communities. 14-year-olds walking around with guns. I think we're going to have to start. We used to do in the late 90s, early 2000s, teaching parents how to search their children's room. And we have parents saying, well, we don't go in our child's room. Why not? They don't pay no bills. You go in your child's room. You see what's going on. You're paying the bills. You're buying his clothes. The hell with his privacy. He gets privacy when he goes off to college or moves out. remember my mother had my door taken off my room. I got fly.
I'm from that era, and you slam that door, you try to lock that door, and the door comes off. Like you disrespectful. You got to earn getting your door back.
I don't know where the hell that door went, man. I don't know where that door went. But it came back after a couple of weeks. But I don't know where the door went. I knew I came home, it was gone, and then I came home again, it was back. Right? But you got
the message. Whatever the message was, you got the message, right?
Exactly. I got the message. Like, parents, search your children's room. Even if you go in there and you clean it up, you do a search. I remember my ex-wife, Dad used to come home and be like, "Oh my God, Beth clean my room." And I'll just be shaking my head. I'm like, "Dude, you just got shook down." But you don't even know it. You just got shook down. Because she'll come out there like, get a little knife dude. Like, he used to carry, I don't know what was wrong with him, bro. He used to have all these little knives. She used to grab all them knives up, man. I'm like, dude, you just got shook down. And you got your room clean at the same time. But we have to, because people be having guns. And these children have gun in their rooms, and their mothers don't even know it. We have to do better with our children. Yeah, I know police brutality. I get it. But we still have to have a responsibility to our children, because this is a young man who was serving the community, trying to get guns off the street, trying to keep the community safe. And then you have some foolish adults that will say he deserved it. Nobody deserves it.
And that 14-year-old, his life is over.
And right, the 14-year-old, his life is over. The other kids that were there, their lives are over. And we know it was a Negro adult that gave him the gun. Other stories on Black Westchester. More evidence suggests that the political motives behind charges against Mayor Eric Adams. There have been text messages found by the prosecutors texting how they were being pushed to bring charges against Mayor Adams. And I don't know if anybody watched the testimony of the sanctuary city. One of the guy made a very interesting statement, because he had asked all the sanctuary city mayors, when the migrant crisis got out of control in their city, were they vocal against the Biden administration and not getting help? And out of the 5 mayors, Eric was the only one that was vocal against the Biden administration for not giving help. And the congressman said, "And you're the only one that got indicted." So there's some things going on. Eric's running. There's like 10 people running for mayor in New York City. And him being incumbent, the more the merrier. A lot of people jumping on the Cuomo band. And to me, it's probably gonna be a circus. You got 10 people running for mayor. It's insane.
Yeah, his comptroller, his the head of the
council president.
Yeah, with the same last name. Yeah. Exactly.
Just to confuse people.
I got another article that's on there real quick. So actually it's funny because it's for excerpt from my book, and people who got my book.
Well, I was gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. this is another for people that need, like a lot of people, for people that need to, and I'm not sure if I put the video up on YouTube, but I meant to put it up. They need to watch this forum out in over in Europe, where this famous economic whatever they call it, Jeffrey Sachs.
Economist.
Yeah, economist Jeffrey Sachs, and how he broke down the whole situation with Ukraine, Russia, Europe, America, and Israel. And you just got to read it, because basically he dictates for the last 60 years, the American foreign policy was Israel's foreign policy. So, and he explains to the Europe nations that they need to get their stuff together. And this is before President Trump came into office. So it didn't matter who was president. It was just the issues of international policy. And sometimes I know a lot of people don't get into that. That's my thing, policy. So if you're into that, check that article out. Check that article out. If you're not, you go to AJ's article with the timeline of Black women in Westchester that made history story. Talk about it, AJ.
So the funny thing is, it's actually an excerpt from my book. What I found amazing is many of the women that were in the book and many of the women who brought the book were complimenting on me on putting this article together and how great it was and how important it is. It's actually in the book. But I thought it was important to, on the anniversary of International Women's Day and, in the beginning of Women's History Month, to celebrate Black women in Westchester. And this is a timeline going back to 1828, when Sojourner Truth, who lived in Briarcliff Manor, was the first Black person to sue a white man and won. And it covers Madam C.J. Walker, and it goes all the way up to the beginning of 2023 when the book was released, and it's just like a timeline of historical achievements from Black women who are from or lived in Westchester County. Very good story. Definitely check it out. Share it with some young people. Share it in your groups, and feel free to leave a comment at the bottom of it. And like I said, it's an excerpt from the book. You can get the book from me. I also will be doing a presentation this Thursday at the Yonkers Riverfront Library in order that when you first walk in, doing an author talk on this book at 6 p.m. Thursday. Come through. Should be a great conversation. I'll have plenty of books there. Get your autographed book. Come purchase your autographed book. Come celebrate Black women in Westchester with me.
All right. Yep. That's great, man. See, that's what's up. So AJ, you did this article. Hold on. Where's that? What happened to it, man?
Also highlighted the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's right there. So Black history, we do this whole thing, and I wanted to get back to it. Black history is more than just the 28 days of February, and we used to on a regular basis celebrate history this day in Black history throughout the whole year, and we got away from that a little bit, and I wanted to bring it back. March 7th is the actual 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. This weekend, and I show all of that and talk about that, and then other things that happened on this day. I think it's very important we remember that time, and we stand on that. And moving forward, we need to get back to that kind of we need to fight. We got a different fight now. I mean, we're not fighting, walking across no bridge or nothing. We have to learn. You know, it's funny. We was talking to Marvin. He's talking about AI. He's talking about social media. We have to learn the new mediums to fight as well. You know what I'm saying? We have to learn the new mediums, and we have to be, you know, marching is part of it, but there's so many other things that can be done on so many different levels and platforms. And we need to get the young people involved. This particular march, I remember John Lewis telling the story. He was like 14 or 15. He was inspired by Martin Luther King. He got there. He got beat up across that bridge. But that set him off on all the work he ended up doing. It's the youth that power these movements. And we have to embrace them and bring them along and educate them and empower them. So, you know, check out that article, and you'll see throughout the year several articles celebrating history that day in Black history and the historical facts. You know, we're going to be celebrating all year again. We have to document it because in this time of whitewashing our history, or just outright erasing our history, we got to document it and keep telling the story over and over, like they used to do in Africa. You know, the elder in the community would sit everybody around and give them the history of that tribe in that area. And they would pass it down, and the next generation they would pass it down. We need to get back to that again. So I'm done.
Yeah, and this is your story, man. Lattimore's back in Black Westchester. Oh my God.
but see, I just, you know, I did this without an opinion. I did this without saying whether it was good or bad. I just really stuck to the facts. The Democrats they protested the State of the Union. They heckled Trump at the State of the Union. One person got removed. Several Democrats left. And Latimer said to Axios in an interview that it was inappropriate. And I just laid it all out, and without an opinion, and people from both sides have had their opinions on whether they thought it was a good thing or a bad thing. And I just put the facts out there. So that's what that is.
Right.
I didn't give no opinion or nothing to it. I'm not calling him out. It's just strictly why it was what happened. So
no, I followed up on that because I followed up on that article because I think what Lattimore was talking about in this piece, I don't know why it's still kind of uncategorized. I can't stand these categories.
Yeah, because you don't fill in the category, and I got to go back.
No. If I fill out, I have to remember to take out the uncategorized category.
So whatever the first subject is, whatever the first
is that's what it goes on.
That's what's listed.
Yeah. So anyway, this article, Democrats' political suicide, obsession with Trump, fear tactics, and the war on free thought. I mean, it goes into even the comment that 5-star General Jack was talking about, who I was talking about. You know, I think we really and I put in Lattimore's statement, you know, and I had to give respect to Lattimore because there's something that is called in politics and in business. You have to read the room. When you come into the room, you need to read the room. Get the feeling of the people. Feel the energy of the people that's around you. See how the people are acting. I used to do that always in corrections when I used to come on a block and see if the block was hot. See what feeling is going on in the block. You have to have the presence of reading the room. And right now, I think the Democrats aren't reading the room at all. They're not reading the room. They're not seeing where they need to pivot or move a different way. And what Lattimore said was correct. Plus, Lattimore he's a moderate Democrat. He's not a liberal. He ran on that, and that's cool, but he's not a liberal. He's never been a liberal. But he's always been a moderate Democrat. But for him to, he read the room. He gets it. That's why he's undefeated in 30 some odd years, because he knows how to read the room. He knows how to take the temperature of the people that he's speaking to. And they failed. You know, and then they have isolated people who just give an opinion. Just giving an opinion on certain things. They have isolated people. Now, Elon Musk is the number one enemy of the Democrats, but he was a Democrat. Why do you think he got all these contracts from Biden? He was a Democrat supporter. Joe Rogan was a liberal. He didn't become the enemy until he started questioning the COVID vaccine and all that. He became the enemy. Stephen A. Smith. When you become critical, you become the enemy and you become attacked when you're just trying to say, hey, yo, man, y'all are going in the wrong direction. You're not reading the room. So when I make these statements and I'm just critical on them not supporting the 13-year-old, that 13-year-old cancer survivor, I don't want to hear that it was a hoax. His cancer was real. His struggle was real. The video of him being taunted by little Negro children making fun of him was real. So to call anything a hoax, it's just a lack of humanity. How do you not stand for an American hostage who was over there longer than Brittany Griner? They pulled her because she was famous, left him there. And his 95-year-old mother. How could you not stand? How could you not stand for the fireman that was killed? It's bad enough you called the assassination on President Trump was a hoax, but I guess the killing of the fireman when he covered his wife and his two children and he was killed, that was a hoax too? How do you not stand for them? He was protecting his family. How can you not stand for the young girl that got hit in the face and she has permanent brain damage, just broke her face playing against a man who said he was a woman? How can you not stand for the two families that lost their daughters to migrant gangbangers? One was brought underneath a bridge and raped and killed. How can you not stand? I don't care what the Democrats did. They're in power. The question is, how are you going to act? And then you gave a president, a person who has never had the high road, gave him the high road. What happened? What happened to Michelle Obama when they go low, we go high? What happened to that? That's all thrown out the window now. It's fuck Trump. You got grown adults standing at a rally saying, fuck Trump. You got elected officials standing at a rally saying, fuck Trump.
So they can read that in your editorial that's on Black Westchester right now. And check out everything else, articles, editorials, and everything. One person asked, could there be room for articles? Could there be room for articles?
Yes. And they didn't remove it. They put a 15% cap on it. I think people really need to start reading legislation. They put a 15% cap on it.
So,
and we have to stop promoting fear.
So answering the question, could there be room for articles from youth in our communities? We encourage more youth. They want to submit articles. They can email us at blackwestchester.com. We need to hear from the youth. I mean, Damon and I, as youthful as we think we are no longer the youth. And you know, we need to hear from that voice. So if any young people want to address situations in their community or whatever, email us at blackwestchester@gmail.com. And we'll get it up there, get it out.
Absolutely. And let me set the record straight. Let me
okay,
set the
I was
record
gonna say
straight.
with that, I'm out. So I'm like, I got something.
Let me set the record straight because I'm getting ready to log out too.
Okay. Well, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm saying peace now.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll make it full so people can see me straight music, straight up. Yo, do not be disrespectful. Like, we have to have a decorum when we're having disagreements on the issues. But it seems to me people want to be keyboard gangsters and attack people's character. Let's not do that. That's not how we're supposed to act towards each other as Black people. We could agree to disagree on a situation. Be disrespectful and go personal. That just means you can't a decent intellectual conversation. So we need to do that because we take our time and we take our efforts to come online and give people information to empower them. Yes, it might be some disagreements, but don't get it twisted. We're grown men. We are grown men. Just because I disagree with you or you disagree with what we're saying, then let's argue the facts. Not emotional. Don't get emotional. We're working for the survival of Black people. And if we feel through our writings that Black people are taken advantage of by the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, we're gonna post it and we're gonna speak about it. Because it's for the advancement of the people. And if we feel that our Black leaders are taking Black people down the rabbit hole, we're going to speak about it. Because it's the advancement of the people. We've been doing this for 10 years. We've been attacked by politicians. We've been attacked by everybody. But don't make things personal. Because you think one way and we think the other. You got preachers running around calling people Uncle Toms because they disagree with certain things. Preachers calling people Uncle Toms. But I guess you ain't read the Bible on certain civil situations that you support on one party. I guess you threw the Bible out of the window. And that's all I want to say, man. We are trying our hardest to give you information, to empower you. Because Black people has been caught in the matrix for 60 years. We don't have no institutions. We have a lot of degrees. We got jobs. Yeah, we got Black jobs because we ain't working for white companies. We ain't working for Black companies. We're working for white companies. So we got Black jobs. And until we see that and turn on the inside and love each other, that's the revolutionary is love and unity and working together to try to have institutions so our children don't have to ask white people for jobs. That's the new revolution. Economics. Economics is the new revolution. but we still didn't vote for our elected officials to go down to D.C. and dance to Kendrick Lamar. Deal with the other side and get things done. And if you can't do it, give up your position. That's part of politics. Negotiating with people on the other side. I don't care if you like them or not. I don't care if they're racist or not. You still got to sit down and negotiate and bring something back to your people. If you don't bring nothing back to your people, you don't need to have the job. And that's all I got to say. But thank you for watching, and check us out. Tomorrow we're gonna have who we gonna have coming on tomorrow? Elevation Nation with Tasha Young. Every Monday at 6 p.m. is Elevation Nation with Tasha Young. So check us out tomorrow. And on Tuesday, I'm back on Tuesday, balling on a budget, where I talk about scents. You know, I love colognes and I love scents. So I'm going to talk about ones I have. And on Wednesday, it's Wellness Wednesday, where we talk about health, wellness, and how to eat right. And let's make health and wellness the new black in 2025. And let's combat these diseases, man. Black people have the highest rate of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, and we have to change our lives. And on Thursday, we have Motivational Thursday, 8 p.m. every Thursday, how to be our best self. And on Friday, every Friday, live in the morning at 8 a.m., it's the morning tea when I review. So everybody, again, for watching. I want to thank my brother AJ Woodson for being on. I want to thank Marvin Church for being on. And I apologize for the rant, but I had to get that out. I had to make that clear because we are in the battle of our lives, and it's an economic fight. It is an economic fight. It's not civil rights, it's economics. And we got to control our economics in the Black community. So thank you again. May you have a Blacktastic Sunday. And remember, God is in your vegetables. Peace out.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the Black point of view.